Okay, so I don't know if you can see the reflection of me in that mirror. The idea behind this is that I'm going to be doing art on this pad and filming it because I like those videos that people do where you can see them drawing, and I don't have well, I do have a tablet, but it's a very bad tablet and I don't know how to use it properly. I feel a lot more comfortable writing with pencil on paper. And so in order to film it, I need to wear this bizarre contraption on my head. I can't actually see what's going into this camera, so we're just going to have to hope that what you're seeing is what you're meant to be seeing. Okay, so Septemberk, the first. The whole point of this is that there are 3 things I want to learn to draw, and I'm going to do 1 a month. The first is faces, the second is hands, and the third is full body poses. So we've got Septemberk because most of the faces are going to look like idiots. The idea being that I do 1 main one and a few construction images per day. I might have to restart this tomorrow because Becky's just in the bath right now. She'll be up soon. If that happens, I'll have to interrupt the video, start again from scratch tomorrow, and I'll do 2 in 1 day. But all that aside, the basic foundation of drawing a head, and I've got all these books, is that you start with a circle. As you can see, I'm doing very, very loose lines here. You draw the cross, and the eyes are basically halfway up the head, and that they should be divided by the width of 1 eye in the middle. So if that's an eye, that's an eye, that's the space between the eyes. That's slightly wider than 1 eye, and that's actually not centered, but yeah, that'll do. The idea behind this process is that I'm trying to figure out where I'm going wrong. So if someone is an artist who's watching this and sees that I've gone terribly wrong, do let me know. This is going to be a straight head-on image because I figure that'll be easier. Another way that these things are generally constructed is that's the eye, so the brow line will come over here. The top of the eye, of course, lines up with where the ear would be. That'll be the same on both sides. That looks like an elf ear, but that's just for my own spacing purposes. The brow line comes down there, so you have the nose goes about there. And then you have a mouth underneath. Now there's not a lot of room there because that line's not quite right. That should do. Now, the way I understand it, and I did this on my sort of trial run video, if you imagine a head from the side, if that's where your eyes are, you have this kind of flat cylinder effect here. So your eyes go there, and then your mouth and your nose stick out like so. Meaning the nose ends about halfway down this line, and the mouth comes about halfway down that line. Now here I've done the eyes as circles. Obviously we're not going to do them as circles. They have to have the top eyelid on each one because these are eyeballs, and you have the bottom eyelid on each one. So that gives you the shape of the eye individually, and that could be looking over here. Why not? So this is the basic structure of the head. Now the thing I have a bit of difficulty with sometimes is figuring out what to do with the nose, because obviously if you draw this whole thing, it looks like it's sort of glued on there. You don't want to do the whole thing. So you kind of have your brow line there, and you can draw an eyebrow here when we get round to that. And then your nose, you definitely have the lobes visible on either side of the nose, and there probably would be something here like this. I don't really know how to do this connective tissue that would go in here, because like do you show the nostrils on the front? That seems wrong somehow. Seems wrong to show the nostrils on the front, but at the same time not having them also seems wrong. Maybe what I need to do is look at an actual photograph of a goddamn human face. But I don't have one with me right now, so I'm constructing this blind, as it were. So the mouth, I never know what to draw for the mouth, so that all the books I've got on comic book art, they've got this thing where they draw the mouth in as a sort of 3-section thing like this, where the lips have a kind of dual, no, not that. The lips have a kind of dual thing going on in the bottom here. And that kind of comes down here. The idea being that the mouth has a kind of... this is like a whole section of itself on the lip, and then you have like your philtrum there. So if your philtrum goes here, that means that you should have lips that kind of come like this. But the trouble is, most people don't have visible outlines on their lips. Certainly not ones that you would fill in with a black line, which is what I'm intending to do here. So... maybe I should give it an expression would work well. So if I give it a nice big smile, wide smile, that means that we can at least have a kind of cheek here and here. The kind of the wrinkles of the mouth, which would kind of come up the size of where the nose would be. Yeah, why not? And that would go there, and then you can sort of imagine there being a kind of an underside to that, and then the chin. Now this kind of has a fat underjaw, so I imagine we want to take that in a bit there to give it a more human shape of face. And then your ear on the side here, you have essentially a sort of inner part there. You know, the ear I did on my trial run was a lot better than that, and I can't figure out why. That's a good looking ear. That's a nice, make it a bit rounder, give it a nice lobe. So apparently one of the things with ears is that you can tell where someone's from by the shape of their ear. This is true. If they have a rounded lobe, it means that they're not from Wales. That's what I've been told. The Welsh people, apparently, the ear goes straight down there, and if they're not from Wales, it comes up. So why does that ear look so much better than that one? What have I done wrong on this side? See, not being able to tell this kind of stuff, this is why I'm such a bad artist. Because I don't use references. I just have these books called How to Draw Whatever. I've got a How to Draw Faces, and I've got a How to Draw Anime, and all that stuff. Are we going to give this one hair, or are we going to leave it with a bald head? I'm going to give it the easiest kind of hair there is, which is the bald head hair, which shows that you have a bit of hair here, a bit of hair here, and that's kind of, you can just kind of fill that in when you come around to doing the lines. Make the irises a bit bigger, eyelids a bit lower. Right, I'm going to start inking. Yeah, we're not messing around with this. So, with regard to the inking, start with the eyes. That's what I was always told, because I read a lot of books on anime. So with the eyes, you always start with the eyelids. And then, depending on the kind of eye that you're going to draw, the way that I'm going to draw the eye, I'm going to do this kind of incomplete looking eye, which I read about in a book somewhere, whereby you fill in the iris and you kind of have a bit of line just there, but you don't fill in the rest of it. That's kind of enough for the eyes. You don't really need any more than that. That gives you enough eye to know that there is an eye there. I am, however, going to go for something that we used to call the anime eye style, which is where you essentially... where's my pencil? You're going to see how messy the floor is now down here. There you go. So the way this would work is that you would have a big shiny spot in the corner of each iris. And you would divide this like so, and essentially draw a line across. And now the way this works is that you have, because of that big shiny spot, you have your pupil in the middle with this sort of bite taken out of it. And then the rest of this you can kind of fill in a really dark colour like so, and then you do very light iris underneath. There you go. See, that's amazing eyes. I'm really proud of those eyes. Time to ruin the rest of the drawing with whatever the hell turns out from the rest of it. I'm going to leave that nose for now. I'm going to go for the ears because I feel like I've done a really good job with these ears. So that, to my mind, is an incredible ear. I'm going to try and do a similar one on this side. Now, I really enjoy drawing things on this side, but over this side I feel like I'm going to fail. Not too bad, not too bad. I think the sizing maybe could do with a bit of more guideline, but you know what? I'm going to say that I'm happy with that. Yeah. Got to do that mouth, haven't we? So let's go for the brows first, because the brows, at least we know how we're going to do this, which is that we're just going to do eyebrows like so. You may think that doesn't look very realistic, but that's what my eyebrows look like, so if that's not realistic, neither am I. God, drawing the opposite side is so much harder, because you kind of have to flick upwards, but flicking up and away like that is really... Thanks, I hate it. Right. It's a lot easier to do things down here than it is this side, because I'm pushing away on this side. Maybe I rotate the paper, but... So then we have this kind of... I'm going to give that a little bit of a roundness just there, just to kind of hint at the existence of nostrils. And then, do we want to go for this slight peak in the mouth? Do we want to do that, or is that going to look too weird? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for a slight peak in the... Then again, if the mouth is smiling, it doesn't need that peak, because if you put the peak in there, then it's... Yeah, that's too weird. Because that will stretch out. As the mouth stretches out, it would kind of disappear. So I'm just going to freehand it and boom. I'm going to come in here and do the nice lines. Yeah, why not? And then just a little under lip there. I'm going to leave that. That's good. That's good. I like that. So we have the chin. We can give ourselves a bit of face. Bit of face there. Very weak jaw. Incredibly weak jaw. Actual definition of someone with low testosterone. Okay, so what's left? I guess what's left now is to do the hair on the top of the head. So the hair, it kind of comes down here, doesn't it? So we got hair coming down here for the bottom part of it, and the same kind of on this side. And I'm going to go Mad Professor style over the top, because, you know, everyone loves Rick and Morty, right? So we're going to go for the kind of easily replicable. And then I am going to rotate the paper for the last bit, because I want a nice smooth arc for the top of the head. Let me give this some... I don't really know what I'm doing at this point, but I seem to be doing it well. I think this is stop recording. I don't think this is... I'm going to try and start it recording. I think this is now recording again, so I may have missed some of what happened. Maybe if this is tuning in for the first time, then you've just literally started here, and this is Septemberk 1, and I've drawn a face, and you didn't see me do any of the drawing because it didn't come on. I really hate this camera setup, but it's the best I can do for now, because the stuff that I was going to use for this hasn't arrived yet. And I did promise I was going to do one of these a day starting in September. So this is September 1st. Now to take a high-res photo of it and increase the contrast so you can't see the construction lines, and call it the first day of me being a mediocre artist. the head-on shot was going to be the easiest one of all of them. We're going to have to do other angles for future days. I'm going to try and give myself themes for the different days, but I want to get the first one in there, just a face to kind of judge myself from a starting position of how these things looked on day one. And fingers crossed for day 2.